And I got a special 6-point wrench. Now I do a little special deal to loosen it. I just use the case, basically use the housing to untighten it. So a little special trick. Not too many people know, but now you know. Sure, can't share all my. Once you got a carrier out, I always get my little scribe out and I'll put LLL for left and then RRR for right. Now I know which side they might go on. Now this thing might require some changing. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just flip the shims, but I won't know until I actually get the bangs pressed on and swap the ring gear over to it and put it back in. Alright, so now we've got our ring gear cleaned up. Our new bolts Loctited. Have to put the carrier on it. Now what I do, I've already Loctited the bolts. I get two started across from each other. You just start it and run them all down. Make sure they start by hand and then evenly tighten them up. Tighten these suckers down. Sorry guys, I'm usually not holding the phone. This next part I'm gotta use the impact, so I actually have to get underneath it and hit it here and here to get it to go up in there. So next we're gonna clean our caps, put the caps on, check backlash. Everything's hunky-dory and she's back where she needed to be. Now there's no reason to paint the teeth. The only time you do that is when you're checking the X and Y axis or the center line of the ring and pinion. Well, if we change that shim underneath the pinion bearing or change the ring and pinion, then we would, start with the original shim depth, get our backlash, our pinion bearing preload, backlash, and carrier bearing preload correct. Then we could paint the teeth and then look at the contact pattern and go from there. But this is a used gear set. It's already been ran with that shim, which means it ain't going to change. We set the backlash back to within a 0.5 of what it was. So she's good to go. Alright, so we got our brakes up. Caliper zip tied up out of the way. I like to disconnect to ABS because so it doesn't interfere with pushing the C-clips in. Same thing over here. Zip tied the axle shaft up out the way. Now, since we're reusing the original ring and pinion, we want to make sure that we read or take a backlash reading. And we're like 13.5. Sorry, it's upside down. 13.5. That's gonna be hard to do. Also, axle shafts in great shape. Mind you, there's only 15,000 miles on this truck. I mean, it still looks brand new. So, you see it slid in. So it looks great. Like brand new. Find her home. There they are. And my C-clips. Now these C-clips will wear. This is brand new, but you can actually see where they wear on one side more than the other, where the button was running. So that one was on the outside. So what I do is I flip them, give them basically a new lease on life. And Ford has that lovely O-ring in there. It holds it, keeps it from doing that. So into the register, the button was on that side, so we're gonna flip it around this way. Make sure she's in there. Alright, next is the block. Sometimes these can be fun to put in. Basically this block is what holds the axles. Oh, damn it. To keep the C-clips from popping out. Alright, we're using magnet. Look at that. Perfect. That goes in there. And then it uses inside style snap ring pliers, which I just so happen to have a few. And I'll use these if they fit. Yeah, there you go. So I'll put the snap ring in and then clean the diff cover, and then she's done. So you always want to measure it in about 3 different spots across the ring. So I'm just going to let that click. It's not going to hurt it. Say there. Right, there you go. Perpendicular with the gear tooth. It's not touching another one. I'll go and zero it out. 12 thousandths, so 13.5, 12. I always measure it in 3 different spots around the ring. Make sure I get good preload, make sure I have good preload. It feels good. Just one more. Yes. There we go. 12.5, so 13.5, 12.5, and what was the other one? 12, I think. So basically you average those 3 together, and that gives you your backlash. Since they're reusing the original ring and pinion, it's already set up like that. So when I put the new carrier in, I got to make sure that it's back to the same backlash setting. So the whole reason you have backlash is for thermal expansion. Whenever the differential heat runs, it heats up, and metal expands when it heats up. And basically you need room for the gear basically to grow and fluid to get in between the gear teeth to cool it and quench it down and cool it down. So that's the whole reason why we have backlash. So there's different styles of gear sets. They got a 2-cut and a 5-cut. This is a 2-cut gear set. I can tell because it's thin here and it thickens across. It gets wider at the top of the tooth. Usually on a 2-cut gear set, they're set up like 4 to 6 thousandths on backlash. But if you look at like the Ford charts, it says all OE gears that are 2-cut, they're usually set up between 11 to 16 thousandths. So just little fun facts for Ford stuff. You know, if you're ever getting I call it the Mustang effect, because everyone always sets them up at 6 to 10. And they really need to be 11 to 16 thousandths, so that's why a lot of people have problems with setting up 8.8. But yes, sir. We'll zero it out again just for fun. Yeah, 12.5. Cool.